evening, friends. Happy Monday. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you've had an awesome weekend. It is hot here, friends. We're having some kind of weird heat wave. It's like 104 degrees here. And it's supposed to be like this till Thursday. So yay us. Poor little kiddos return to school tomorrow in this kind of weather. That's not fun. So this is going to be a 3-part series on how to, why not to, whatever you want to call it, create a tarot channel on YouTube. And I've wanted to do this for some time. It's been something that I've been thinking about, and I sort of keep going back and forth with it. But anyway, so part 1 starts now. Part 2 will be at 6:30, and part 3 will be at 8. Feel free to take part in the conversation and ask questions as we go. But part 3 specifically is a Q&A, but more in terms of, like any question goes. And I'll do my best to answer them. So part 1 is about my story. And I think that my story is unique when it comes specifically to a tarot channel. Because when I started my tarot channel, I had no idea how to read tarot cards. I didn't actually own any tarot cards. So here we go. So really, it's interesting. Where do I start? Nobody's saying hello, but I know that there's people there. So thank you, everyone, for popping in and for hanging out with me. I do appreciate it. So November the 7th of 2021 is the date that I started my channel. And I would like to go just backwards a wee bit as to how that came about. So 12 years ago, I lost my mother. Hi, Kathy. Thank you for being here, my friend. Appreciate you. 12 years ago, I lost my mom. The day after my mother passed away, I found out that my father was terminally ill. To say that that did something to me would be an understatement. Shortly thereafter, in between those two things, I found out that I had anxiety, panic disorder, and depression. I was having panic attacks and blah, 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 the rest of it. And I don't mean blah, 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 like I'm trying to dumb it down. Just blah, blah, blah. Nobody wants to hear the sordid details is where I'm going with that. Hi, Miriam. It's so good to see you. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hi, Nancy. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. Appreciate you. So probably in about 2019, the beginning of 2020, our stepfather had passed away, and we were, when I say we, I mean my family and I, we were going through a whole lot of stuff. Specifically in terms of our mother, we were never provided the closure that my mother was interred. And that was the one and only wish that she had made out loud. She did say what she wanted and how she wanted. And even though we were promised that would take place, and it never had. And so when my stepfather passed away, it was like we had to start the grieving process all over again. And again, to say that messed with me even more. Now, at that moment in time, I had managed to be able to cope with my anxiety, panic disorder to a particular degree that it was safe for me, right? It was manageable for me. I had, I can't say that I had good days or I can't say that I had bad days, but I learned to manage. Hi, Ivana. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. So when I got to that particular point, hi Gypsy JJ. When I got to that particular point, and that is that I have arrived at this place where I am managing my anxiety, and my stepfather dies. I find out that my sister and I are disinherited. We're not, I mean, I'm not communicated with in any way. It was a lot. And I found myself coming to YouTube and looking up different tarot scopes, if you can believe it, friends. I love tarot scopes. Tarot scopes being, for those of you that don't know, going through the 12 zodiac signs with the tarot cards and the oracle cards telling you, what could or might happen. Hi, Debbie. Thank you for being here, everybody. So when I came to YouTube and started finding different tarot readers to hear these tarot scopes, I found myself at Lilac Lantern's channel, Andrea. I was fascinated by her own deck that she created, and I got a private reading from her, and she was wonderful. She spent so much time with me. Through Andrea, I found lots of different people. The next significant person is Debbie Freebird Spirit. I went into her chat, and I found that she could answer a question for me. And she channeled my mom, and I got a message from my mom, and I mean, I can't really put into words how much that meant to me. And the chat, you guys know who you are. The chat, oh my God. So welcoming and so loving and so embracing. It was such a powerful and significant moment. I won't ever forget it, truly. That first moment where I felt like, wow, these people actually, they want to say hi to me. They want to know how I am. It was really powerful because that was not my experience. I was used to being judged, and most of my friends had given up on me because my anxiety sort of, backed me up from a lot of people, and people didn't understand it. And so I shied away from people. And so, the chat was this welcoming, powerful, loving force, and very supportive and encouraging. And I want, it was like a drug. It was so addictive. I wanted more and more and more and more and more. So then I, started finding other readers and navigating that path. And I came to the Nasty Women Tarot, Lisa Smith, which is Spirit Intuitive, and Sharon Lee, which is Strawberry Rhubarb. They used to do a show together called The Nasty Women. And it was Lisa Smith's birthday, and I was sitting backstage. Hi, Fleck. Hi, Hershey. Thank you very much for being here, you guys. And it was Lisa's birthday, and she was pulling people out of the chat. There was different readers on the screen. And for whatever reason, I was sitting in my pajamas that night. And I popped up on the screen, and I was like, hey. There was no thought process between do it and don't do it. It was kind of like I said yes before I could take it back. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, there I was on the screen. And it was really my opportunity, because there was a lot of people watching in the chat. It was my opportunity to express my gratitude and my thanks and my appreciation, and give a little bit of that love back to the people that had really been the glue that had held me together for the last year. Well, Allie from Heart and Soul Connected was in the chat, and she heard that, and we got in touch, and she wanted me to come on her show that she was doing, a series called Resilience in a Time of Fascism and Plague. And I went on there and I told my story. And I think it's important just to note, to make sure that everyone understands, I self-isolate. I don't leave my home. And when the pandemic had hit and everyone was having to self-isolate and stay at home, all of a sudden I felt normal. everybody else was starting to feel cooped up, and people, I felt better than I probably had in a long while, because I felt like everybody else. So I think I brought a unique perspective to that program. Anyway, there I was on the show, chatting away, telling my story, and the chat, they were there, showing me love and appreciation and support and understanding. There was no judgment, there was no criticism. And in that moment, they're like, you've got a great story and you need to tell your story, and you should start a channel. And yeah, start a channel. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to start a channel. That's as much thought as I put into it. So I sat back and thought about it for a hot minute, and decided that November the 7th of 2021, my mom's birthday, was going to be the day that I started my channel. I called the episode Believe, because you got to put a little title in YouTube. Believe is one of my mom's favorite words, and I have it all over my house in different forms, and it seemed really fitting to me. Right? It seemed really fitting to me. And I started my channel. I had no idea how to throw tarot cards. I didn't own any tarot cards. I knew what tarot cards were. I didn't have any oracle cards. I've never thrown an oracle card. I wanted to focus on wellness. I wanted to focus on creating an environment and a space that provided people the feeling and the opportunity that if they wanted to share, they could. If they wanted or needed support, they had it. And I sort of took it from there, right? I didn't really have a plan. And what's really funny about that is, for those of you that know me and that you followed me for a while, you know I am a planner. I am Miss Plan. I plan everything, like everything. I am not a fly by the seat of my pants kind of gal. My anxiety doesn't allow me to do that, and so it was exciting. It was nervous. Or I was nervous, but I wasn't resistant to it. And there's something that's very powerful about that in terms of my own personal healing, right? So there I am, I start my channel, and, we're often talking about anxiety and just wellness in general. I don't want anyone to ever experience that low, dark, desperate feeling that I felt for so long. That feeling where no one understands, nobody cares, and despite your best efforts, you just cannot find your way out. You just can't. That feeling where you're like, well, if this is the best that I can get, well, I guess I'll just settle for that. No, hell no. Don't ever settle. No. But that's where I was at, friends. And so this channel became my virtual healing journey. It was an opportunity for me to come and, to boost my confidence and my self-esteem by putting myself out there and sharing my story. The vulnerability factor of sharing, intimate details of my personal story. That's not easy. I mean, it's just very intimidating to come in here and go on, and that little light pops up and you're like, hey, you know what I mean? That's hard. So we started off with just doing chats, right? People would come into the chat, and right away you could feel that vibe, that warmth, that feeling, that there was like a close knit sort of vibe that would happen in this room. And I could not, if I could have imagined it or manifested it in my mind, I couldn't have done a better job, because the chat made it work. Their energy, their love, their support for each other and for me fed me, and I sat here and tried to feed them back, and together we made this beautiful, thing just start to like tick and boom and move and tick and boom and move. And it was beautiful. It was poetry in motion, to steal a sign from a line from a song. And so I bought some oracle cards because I smoke, and I didn't want to smoke on the camera if I could help it. And I would, be shuffling away, and we'd be talking and having a conversation, and somebody would say something in the chat, and I'd throw a card down, and I'd pick it up and go, how funny is that this card says what you just said? That's so funny. And everyone in the chat like yell, you're a reader. And I'm like, what? And we'd do it again, and the same thing would happen. I'd be like, that's crazy. I don't know what you're talking about. So I resisted it for a really, really, really long time. And I noticed it. I was aware of it, but I resisted it, if that makes sense. And we continued to do our chats. We continued to, inspire and to support and to love and to motivate and to comfort and to encourage each other. And I was on here all the time. Like, friends, there are times when you are put in a position, in a moment in time, where it feels like you are watching it from, like somewhere else, like you're there, you're present, but you're not. There was so many magical moments where me, Kelly, like little old me, got to be present, got to be a part of, got to be a witness for some person that I don't know to come into this space, and you could literally watch them just go do, 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 and they just start to open up. I don't know how many people have the opportunity in their lifetime to witness another individual start to heal, start to feel good. And it is breathtaking. And I still am in shock and awe as to how I got to be so blessed to be put in that position. Now I'm tearing up. So I'm like trying to blink. Kathy says, that's really something, Kelly. Whilst you were in the dark finding your light, you were shining what light you found for others, like a safe harbor. Oh, thanks, Kathy. I appreciate you saying so, my friend. I think it was at that point that I realized the responsibility that I now felt. This wasn't a bunch of friends, just chatting, trying to support each other. There was so much more going on than that. These were people that were trusting myself as well as other, each other with some of their deepest, darkest, and heaviest secrets and pains and wounds and traumas. And it's a huge responsibility. Huge responsibility. And I have to be honest, there were many, many, many times where I didn't know if I was up for the task. because I wasn't 100% well myself. There were many nights that we would sit here and we would be in fits of laughter, and we had just as many nights where we were in total tears. Hi, Linda. How are you, my friend? Thank you for being here. We did that for the longest time. We did that for the longest time. We continued to share and to open up and to allow each other the space that was needed to, to feel it, to feel the power of that moment, right? And use it for whatever we needed to use it for. And then I sort of had a personal moment where I wasn't able to walk away from this. And what I mean by that is I had a personal moment where I would leave the live stream would be done. I would say goodnight. I would walk away and I would feel really, really good about what we just did. But then the heaviness of, whatever might be going on in my life, and then the stuff that was shared in the chat, it started to feel heavy again. And I can't really explain that, right? It felt heavy again. And I wasn't able to shift it. And so I started to lean more towards reading. I started to use the little bit of an audience that I had built up, my subscribers, and use that to still spread the message, and that is that you are loved, that you are not alone, that you are fine, that you are okay. We've got you. We are here to support you. We love you. Just in a different way, right? And that was simply because I was finding it difficult to navigate, if I was being 100% honest. Once I started trusting and believing and owning that I was a reader, and that happened purely by me coming to the conclusion that I ask you to come into this chat, and I ask you to ask me a question, and I ask you to trust me that I'm going to toss these cards, and that Spirit's going to communicate to me through these cards to give you the message that you need. If you can put that kind of trust and faith in me, then I better be able to put that kind of trust and faith in Spirit and my ability. And once I did that, whole new opportunity opened up for me. So then I just started having so much fun experimenting with that. I started making all kinds of crazy readings and spreads up, and I was having the greatest time ever. I was really tapping into my creativity, right? And I used to come in here every day, and I'd sit here with my cup of tea, and I'd turn Canva on, and I'd just play in there, right? Sometimes I'll get an idea for like a reading or a spread or a show, and I would go to Canva and I would create the thumbnail in Canva. And that is how I put the show together in my, like in my eyeballs, in my vision, in my brain. I would use Canva to sort of bring it to life, if you will. So a shout out to Canva. No, they don't sponsor my videos. Just saying. I learned how to toss tarot cards in January, February of 2022, and once I just want to make sure that I'm stating that right. Once I owned it, and I didn't resist it, and I didn't fight it, I loved reading. because I have been on the other side of that reading, and I know the comfort that a reading can do, that a reading could provide. So I don't want to like go all over the place, but I do want to touch on some things that are important in the story. And like I said, please remember, this is a 3-part series, right? So the first part is my story. The second part is how I navigated the anxiety of having a channel, and whether or not you're ever thinking of creating a tarot channel, whether or not, you know, maybe you just have a job, navigating anxiety, you may find that helpful. And then the third part is a Q&A, and that's at 8 o'clock. And that's open to any questions that you have, whatever they may be. So I set some goals for myself on this channel. I am a very dedicated person. I threw myself at this because I felt like I was supposed to. I felt good. I felt, finally, I feel like things are clicking and booming and working like as this beautiful machine, and I hadn't felt that in a really long time. I didn't feel like I was meant to do anything. I felt like I was finished. I was ready for retirement. I felt like I was, no offense to, like a 98-year-old, but I felt like I was 98, like my best years were behind me. And so when this started to present itself to me in a way that spoke to me, that I felt good and I felt happy and I felt healthier, I wanted to like dive in with both feet, sort of thing, and I did. And yes, that's how I am normally about a job or whatever. But it was different this time. I felt like it was my last shot. It was my last moment. It was my last opportunity. So that's what I did. I jumped in with both feet. I treated this like a job. I was on all the time. Pretty much, you turn on YouTube and boom, there I was somewhere. And I loved every single second of it. This channel and the people that supported me, meaning the subscribers, the chatters. Hi, Vivian. How are you, my friend? Bye, Hershey. Gave me back my life in a way that is really difficult to put into words. You provided me with hope, and it's like I sort of got a kickstart on a second chance to prove to myself and to all of my haters that just because I have anxiety doesn't mean that I can't be great. And I didn't think that I was ever going to have that moment again. I thought my best years were behind me. And so when this thing sort of took on a life of its own, and the more I did it, the better things felt, and the more, the better I felt, and it just all was falling into place in a beautiful way. And that doesn't happen, or hadn't happened for me in a very, very long time. And suddenly I would wake up and I was happy, and I had things to look forward to, and I had reason to celebrate, and all of those kinds of things. Hi, Rossi. And I wouldn't change any of it. Wouldn't change any of it. Not a single solitary second would I change. Everything happens for a reason. I don't know what the reason is that brought me here, specifically. I just celebrated my 58th birthday, and 5 years ago, I didn't know I was going to make it to my 58th birthday. I have no contact with the outside world. I don't leave my house. But you guys loved me enough and supported me enough and encouraged me enough. You believed in me that through that love and support and belief, I somehow was able to tap into that. And I left the house. I left the house. I went in the store. And y'all came with me. You guys, people that are here right now in this chat, my subscribers at large, I hope you know the phenomenal support network that you make up. I hope that you understand how powerful you are when you combine your energies and your forces together. I don't know how I would ever not do this now. This has become like part of my daily routine. Like I put on my clothes, you know what I mean? Or like it's just the most amazing thing. If you had have told me 3 years ago that I would be going back into a store, I wouldn't have believed you. I would not have believed you. You all made that possible. And I hope in that moment when I went to the store that someone else was inspired to try something that they had been putting off, or that they were motivated to try something different or try something new, or just felt good, just felt joy, because there's so much not of that around. You know what I mean? Oh, thank you, Alana. Blessings, my friend. Yes, we did, Gypsy JJ. We bought crystals and gemstones at that store. Yeah. We went to Michael's. We went out to the ski place. We went to the lake. We went to another lake. And I guess what I'm trying to say is this, that this is more of for me, this is more of a feeling. This is a vibe that we have created here. Dozen Cats isn't about Kelly. It's about all of us. You don't have to have anxiety to be able to resonate with me. You just have to be a person that wants to be happy, that wants to be hopeful, that wants to be helpful. There isn't anything that we don't talk about here that can't touch anybody's life, right? We can all learn if we're open to it. Aw, thank you, Fleck. You're very, very sweet. Thank you so much. You know, when I sit here and I think about how far this channel has come, 1,000 And gosh knows what the number is, because that thing has gone up and down and 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 up and down. Friends, can I just say, for anyone who's listening to this now or later, please make sure that you check your subscriptions to whatever channels that you frequent, because something is going on. I just received the notification, I think like last week, that I reached 75,000 views. Wow. 75,000 views. Dozen Cats Walnuts to Row has reached 75,000 views. And yet I can't seem to hold on to my subscribers, so go figure. I have bounced between 1,109 and 1,096 for the last month. For as many subscribers as I gain, I lose them all. Then I gain them, then I lose them. Then I gain them, then I lose them. Then I gain them, then I lose them. We're going to touch more on that in part 2. But for everyone who is subscribed to me, for everyone who believed in me, for everyone who stuck around, for everyone who participated in the conversation, in the chats, in the comment section, made a donation, hit the thumbs up, moderated on my channel, got a private reading from me, seen my name in a chat and thought, you know what, yep, I'm going to subscribe when someone might have put my link in. For all of you who did that, and for all of us that do that for other channels that we watch, and know that those subscriptions are so valuable. Because again, I'm going to revert back to something that I already said. This is my job. Now, whether I have a job or I don't have a job, this is my job. I take great responsibility in making sure that what I do here matters. It doesn't have to matter to anybody else. It matters to me, right? It matters to me. It's important to me. It's significant to me. This is my life. And I open it up and I'm sharing it with you guys. And we are navigating this journey together. I take it very seriously. I take it very, very, very seriously. I feel a great sense of responsibility and accountability. I said when I started this that I would be authentic and I would be, as genuine and authentic as possible, meaning I will share as much as I feel I can. And God knows I have. I've opened up my home and my heart and my life because I just want to be helpful. I don't want anyone to ever feel desperate, alone. Oh, hi, Connie Bean. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Blessings, my friend. Never in my wildest imagination would I think that someone who had dropped out of society, who had shied away from all of her friends, who had created this sort of safety bubble, if you will, in an effort to protect herself, who let herself go physically in her mind, never in my wildest imagination would I think that she would have started a YouTube channel and that she would still be doing it a year and a half later. And that it would change her life in the way that it has. Never, 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 never. And I think that if there is a lesson to be learned about my story or my channel, that's it. That is the lesson. There's been so many beautiful things that have happened thus far, and I look forward to the future for all of the things that could come my way or could happen. But this particular concept of just being accepted, of not being judged, not being ridiculed. It's powerful, friends. This channel and what we do here, the environment in which we've created, all of my subscribers, all of the people that show up to me in the chat, you have really given me back the permission, because there's no judgment, that allowed me to reclaim my power. And when I said before that watching someone open up and heal is a powerful thing, friends, nobody has felt that more than I have sitting here. Even though I'm not sitting in the chat with you, I'm here and I'm feeling it too. So I thank each and every one of you, because no matter what part you played in this journey, you have played a significant role, because I'm still here. I want to continue to move forward. I am excited. I celebrate the forward movement, the forward motion. I have things that I want to accomplish. I have no idea where this channel is going to go, but I want it to be successful. I know that. I don't know what that means. I want to be able to be proud of it. I want it to be something that when I say to my friends or anyone I might meet, oh yeah, I have a YouTube channel, you should check it out, that I can say that and feel good about it. You know what I mean? That's all. It's all I've ever wanted for this channel, is that I can say I have a YouTube channel and feel really good about what I do. Now, as we close up part 1 and get ready for part 2, and as I said, part 2 is about managing the my personal anxiety. And you don't have to have anxiety or even want to create a tarot channel. I hope that you guys will show up. That's at 6:30 Eastern. Because I think it's going to be helpful for anybody. We're going to sort of treat it like an Achieving Wellness. And then part 3 is at 8, where we can ask questions. So if you're thinking of starting a tarot channel here on YouTube, you know, we got questions about lighting or cards or equipment or whatever the case may be, do tune in, because that's the space to ask all those questions. Now, I just want to say in closing, has it all been, this rosy, wonderful, sort of fun-filled? No, friends. It's been up and it's been down, and then sometimes it's been more down than up, and then other times it's been more up than down. Has it been smooth? Nope. And again, we're going to touch all of that in part 2. But if you hear nothing else from these 3 parts, I want you to hear this. This exercise, this experiment, this opportunity has changed my life in ways that surprise me. It has given me back my life, given me back my ability to trust myself. It has reshaped how I feel about myself. It has allowed me to find my power again. And it has allowed me to stand on a solid foundation, to stand in my truth, and be the narrator of my own story. Meaning that I don't live in fear anymore. The fear does not operate Kelly. Kelly operates Kelly. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to create this space and this environment. Thank you for being a part of this space and this environment. And thank you for believing in me. It has been so far something that I am incredibly proud of. And I don't know what else to say other than thank you. Although it seems insignificant, I will say, but thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. So, for anyone who is out there who wants to start a tarot channel on YouTube, who wants to start a channel on YouTube, who wants to help, who wants to be supportive, I know that there's a lot of responsibility. Be genuine, be authentic, be true, be real, be honest, or as honest as you can be. And I would hope that you would do it for the right reasons. If you do it for the right reasons, it can change your life in the most significant way. And if you're open to those changes, it's like a game changer. It's a game changer. It's a total game changer. Hi, honey. Hi, Rossi. Rossi says everyone is very supportive. This is a no judgment zone. Thank you. Vonna says, I know that you do shows over the holidays so people can stop in and not be alone. You are a true gem. Yes, I do. Thank you for mentioning that, Ivana. That's very kind. Linda says, I've been there, Kelly, even though I was out in public but still felt isolated. Yep, you have been. I know that. Connie says, proud of you. Appreciate you. Connie, thank you so much. Flex says, you know, there is nowhere I'd rather be. Oh, thank you so much, Fleck. You're very kind. And Ivana says, you were such a bright light. You gave me my start, my friend. You create such a beautiful, safe place for all of us. Wow. I thank you, my friend, for saying so. And, you know, I try to be as supportive as I can to any of the new channels that are starting up, because, I mean, I was new too. And because my channel was unique in the fact that I did not toss cards, even though I was a member of this community, I wasn't necessarily embraced by this community. In other words, nobody really knew what to do with me. Now, I don't want that to be misunderstood, right? So don't read anything into that, whether you're here now or you're listening later. Don't read anything into that. I have had the distinct pleasure to have the most incredible collaborators over my year and a half time frame or timeline so far, but I wasn't getting a whole lot of invites to other channels. Simply put, I believe, because nobody really knew what the heck I really did. But it's important to be supportive. because it's hard getting started. It's hard getting noticed. That's why we all say, hit the thumbs up and leave a comment. Make sure your bell notification. We're not saying that because we enjoy it. I mean, I feel like a shoe salesman. No offense to shoe salesmen. Every time I say that, I don't like saying it. It sounds ridiculous. Why am I begging you to make sure that you hit the thumbs up? You should want to hit the thumbs up. And why does it matter if you hit the thumbs up? You already show me that you like it, or you wouldn't be here talking or participating or asking me the question, right? So why are you saying all that stuff? Because that's what they tell us that we need to say. Because YouTube is set up like a competition, right? It's all about the views, it's all about the likes, and it's all about the comments. It's all about how many subscribers you have. Plain and simple, that's it. People don't like it when I say it, but that is the truth. That's how it works. And so we have to support each other, I think, because if we don't, like, what's the point? Everybody started somewhere. Everybody's been helped in some way, some form, some fashion, in some way, right? So I think it's, if I can help someone else, like, great. I mean, that's what I do. That's what my whole channel is about, right? So I'm happy to do it. Gypsy JJ says, Fear knocked on the door. Love answered the door. There was no one there. Aw. Rossi says, you are so brave being so open with your struggles. I don't think I could be so brave. Thank you, Rossi, for saying that. I mean, I don't know that it's bravery, but I see why you say that. I just sort of feel like, I mean, that's the way I've always been. My mama always told me that there is knowledge that knowledge is power. And I learned a long time ago, with what I studied to do in school, and that was, you have to communicate with people to be able to express how you feel, whether it's verbal or written or otherwise. You have to pay attention to signs and signals that are being given from the humans that you're around, right? The energetic shifts and vibrations of the room, if you will. And I don't get a second chance to express myself, I have spent 12 years walking away from a situation and thinking, oh, God, they're going to think I'm nuts. They're going to think I'm crazy, and then beat myself up. "13 years ago, when we found out, or almost 12 years ago now, sorry, when we found out that our mom was dying, when we had that doctor's meeting and the doctor said there's nothing more we can do. After that meeting, like in that moment when that meeting was over, I decided that I needed to go outside and get some fresh air and have a smoke. And that was when my mother decided that she wanted to share some of her thoughts and wishes and feelings about, what was going to happen. And I left the room because I couldn't handle it. I left the room. Given how that situation turned out, for 12 years, I have beat myself up, punished myself in every way, shape, or form. I believe that is the whole reason why I end up having anxiety, is because in that moment, I gave up. I gave in to the fear. I walked away. And I have lived in regret that I could have changed the trajectory of not only my life, but that of my sister and my nieces as well. And perhaps even eventually what happened to my mom. because I couldn't handle it, because I didn't speak up. That is why I share, because I don't want to live in regret. I don't know that tomorrow is promised. I don't know that I will have an opportunity to share my thoughts, my feelings, or my emotions with someone another time. So I try to be honest, and I try to stand in my truth. I am not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. God knows I am not perfect. But I try to always remember that, because I think about that moment and wish to God that I could have a do-over. You know? But thank you for saying so, Rossi. I appreciate that. I know that that comes from a really real place. All right, friends. I have exactly, Linda. I mean, that's the thing, right? Everything happens for a reason. We're not necessarily always aware of the reason. But the trip that your mind takes when you go down that path of the woulda, shoulda, couldas, and the regrets, it can be very detrimental to you. And I know that it's been detrimental to me. And so it's almost like I have some weird phobia about it, right? Where as much as I don't like confrontation or getting into it with other people, I try to do it from a place of kindness. But I still gotta say it. I gotta call it. I gotta do it. Whether I say it to them or I write it in my journal or I take a walk outside and I'm just like, well, I'm out there. It doesn't matter. I'm still releasing it. Because I can't have that regret hold on to me. It's not healthy. So, with that being said, I just want to say again that this journey has been incredible thus far. That is my story. That is why I started a channel. It is very much a work in progress. I have no idea where it's going to end up. I don't know if it will ever, go past the point that it's at right now. I don't know that it will, I mean, who's to say that I'm not going to have, 500,000 subscribers one day? I don't know. I will keep doing this as long as I feel that this is what I'm meant to do. And because of the support that I have received spiritually and from you guys, I want to show up, right? I want to show up. I will continue to show up. And I look forward to each day. And so if you're thinking of starting a channel or thinking of starting a new project, listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. Your heart always seems to know what's really going on. And that's my best advice. So, friends, I'm going to leave it there. I'll see you at 6:30 for part 2. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all your love. Thank you for your support. I am so grateful and so blessed and so appreciative of all of your support. I cannot express into words the difference that you have made in my life. So from me to you, thank you. And I'll see you in part 2. Many blessings.